Alrighty, here we go. Hi, everybody. Good evening, good evening. Hi, Al Dog. Hello, Mr. Wolf. The Hood Foodie. Hi. Hi, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out, for joining. Hi, Jesse. Blue Diamond Camaro. E-Crowns. Hermosos. Miss Dodger. Wow, I should have worn blue. Hi, David. Turnball Tavern. Turnbulls? Cocina Clemente. Hello, hello. Camp Ronald McDonald is joining us. We have a special guest, a dear friend of mine, Fatima. Let me make sure this is working. What's up? There she is.
Hi, Amiga.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I sure can. It's so exciting to be with you tonight. I miss you. I haven't seen you in a bit.
I know, it's been a while. Good to see you. You look lovely as always.
So do you. Thank you. Thank you. It's the bronzer, right? I tell
It's
people.
the bronzer. Oh,
Bronzer.
I can't live without bronzer. Let me tell you. How did I live life without bronzer?
I don't even know what there was before. Was there life before bronzer? I do. I am a big proponent of bronzer.
Yes.
And now like the self tan, but okay.
That's right.
As the fall comes in and our winter, you'll see more bronzer.
That's right. Absolutely.
So I want to thank you for joining us tonight. It's a pretty special IG chat. I've not done this with you or with Camp Ronald McDonald before, but it is really important, and the timing could not be even more special. So please tell everybody what this month signifies and why we're doing this, please.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being such a great supporter of Camp Ronald McDonald for Good Times. So in addition to it being Hispanic Heritage Month or Latinx Heritage Month, we are, of course, shifting our awareness around this, but it's also Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, which is in September. Latinx Hispanic Heritage Month is September to October, but September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. And Camp Ronald McDonald for Good Times is a camp for children with cancer and their families. And we've been around since 1982. And so we're here tonight to talk about, what is the overlap between these 2 months. With Camp Ronald McDonald serving children with cancer and their families, we have an opportunity to hear about how do we serve the Latinx community. So that's what we're here to talk about tonight.
And that is so important. What is more important than taking care of our children and their families going through such a rough time that I can't imagine. And but this is also awareness and a celebration of what you all do at Camp Ronald McDonald, right? We want to keep that going. We want to be even more inclusive. I've been to several of your homes, and I cannot tell you, I can't explain to all of our viewers out there how special it is there, how warm, how open, how just important it is. And that's why I'm doing this. I just want to make sure that we keep this going, and there's a special hashtag that is for this time of year, correct? I know I participated in it before.
Yeah so it's gold for September. And Childhood Cancer Awareness Month is not just exclusive to Camp Ronald McDonald for Good Times. I mean, it's the whole child oncology community is going gold. And I mean, to your point, I should probably mention that I am the executive director of Camp Ronald McDonald for Good Times, so that's why I'm here speaking on behalf of the organization. And oftentimes, you mentioned the house. A lot of people are familiar with the house, have stayed at one of our Ronald McDonald houses, which is, it's worldwide. I mean, we have houses all over the world, more than 370 rooms, homes in throughout the world. But not a lot of people are familiar with Camp Ronald McDonald for Good Times. So the houses serve all types of children that are critically ill or, have experienced some sort of injury, and they're in a hospital, and their families stay at the Ronald McDonald House. So there's 6 throughout Southern California. So it's a place for families to stay while a child's being treated, which, when you're going through that sort of traumatic experience, to not have to think about where you're going to stay, to not have to pay for a hotel, right? Which can be so expensive. I mean, such a relief for our families who stay at the houses.
Together. They get to stay together.
Exactly.
Which is, I mean, I can't imagine what families are going through and to be apart. Because, well, anyways, you guys are about solutions and keeping families together. So I've never visited the camp. Tell me about the camp.
Yeah, so our camp is specifically for children with cancer because we have a 24-hour medical center up at camp where we have volunteer oncologists and nurses who are there the whole time. And so, you know, we're diagnosis specific so that we can make sure that we are able to medically treat children with cancer and their families. And so it's a 60-acre site in Idlewild, which is about 2 hours outside of LA near Palm Springs and the San Jacinto Mountains. It's a beautiful, beautiful site. For those who don't know, like what 60 acres looks like, it's bigger than Disneyland, so it's huge. And we have tons of cabins. Again, that medical center that's available 24/7. We have a pool, we have horses, we have a climbing tower, we have archery, we have a pond where our kids can go fishing, and all of this is provided cost-free. So since 1982, it's almost 40 years, we've been totally cost-free because you can imagine, like when you're talking about dealing with cancer and the medical treatments and the cost, I mean, it's just astronomical, right? So our families wouldn't be able to afford to come to camp if we weren't able to provide it for free. Another like common misconception is that because we have McDonald's in our name that we're fully funded by McDonald's, which we're not. They give us about 10 to 15% of our funds, which we're so grateful for our partnership with McDonald's. There's not a lot of corporations who give that level of support year after year, but that means we're fundraising, you know, at least 90 to 85% of our budget every year to maintain that commitment of cost-free programming.
That is amazing. So let's go ahead and give McDonald's some love for being a partner for this long.
Yes.
I also want to, if you're just joining us, hello, Brenda. I want to shout out Viv6, who gave a little love. She said Camp Ronald McDonald is the best. And Hood Footy saw you come on and he said familia. So I don't know if you know Hood Footy or he has a relationship with Camp Ronald McDonald. Bravo. Thank you for joining us, Hood Footy. And Content Vaquero, when he heard you say horses, he was horses. So shout out to all of our Compton Vaqueros.
That's right.
But yeah, so that place sounds amazing. If you're just joining us, I have with us Fatima, who is the executive director of Camp Ronald McDonald. It's a very special month to help support children going through something that I cannot imagine. I don't want to belittle what they're going through, but this is it's a beautiful thing to be able to keep families together, to get children going through cancer out in the wild, 60 acres of nature. I can see how this is very important. And it's Hispanic Heritage Month. And let's talk about how that directly affects the children, a lot of the children, right? You tell me some numbers, some statistics, how it does affect a lot of Latinos, a lot of Latinx children.
Yes. Yeah. So on average, every year, about 2,900 children, Latino or Latinx children are diagnosed with cancer. So that's, you know, it's a lot. And I think with the changing environment, that number is actually increasing every year. And so Camp Ronald McDonald for Good Times is the very first child oncology camp to have a Spanish language camp. And that was founded in 1987. And that was actually our very first family camp. So we have our traditional summer camp for older patients and siblings ages 9 to high school graduation age. And they come up for summer camp sessions for a whole week. We do several of those during the summer. But then in the fall and in the spring, we do family camp. And that's for younger patients 0 to 8 and their families. And so we do not just English language, but Spanish language camp. And our very first family camp in 1987 was actually in Spanish, Campamento Familiar.
Wow, that is so important. Again, what you've been doing, you and all the staff, the wonderful staff there at Camp Ronald McDonald, and volunteers, and the families, and the people who have supported you up until now. If you're just joining us and learning about Camp Ronald McDonald, please stay with us, because we want to keep programs like this that are so necessary. We want to keep them going, and we want to support, right? Especially during a month where sometimes we hear about Hispanic Heritage Month and it's a hashtag. Well, what do we do about it? What can we do about it? This is a great example of how we want to support something that directly affects children and families who are Latino, Hispanic, Chicano, Latinx. It's very important. So that's why I'm happy we're talking. So first of all, I understand why having a Spanish language camp is important. Can you briefly tell us why that's important? Why someone might think, well, big deal, but it is a big deal. Please tell me why.
Yeah. Well, we talk about with camp, like, why is it important? It's not just a fun recreational activity, but it's really heals places that cancer treatment cannot reach. And you being such a wonderful example of like being in nature, and you love hiking. I mean, everyone who is a fan of yours knows that you're an avid hiker. And you think about like how healing that is for you, right? Psychologically, physically. And so you go from being in a medical environment that's very scary, and I mean, God bless our doctors and nurses who, and their healing touch, thank goodness for our medical system. However, it can be very jarring for our families. And so to be able to be in nature is extremely healing. But I think for our Latino community, we're not accustomed to a camp modality. Like, I didn't really go to camp as a kid,
Nor did I.
Yeah. Or like even the idea of being allowed to sleep over your friend's house. Okay. Like the drama around that, like, can I stay at so-and-so's house? Like, why? There's all kinds of comedy sketches about how that plays out, right, within a Latino family. And so that's really what inspired Campamento Familiar, because I think that, the staff at the time in 1987 realized, like, there's a huge Latino community in Southern California. Why are they not wanting to send their kids to summer camp? Why won't they send their kids, 2 hours away without their parents? And it was because the families were not familiar with a camp modality. And so Campamento Familiar was initially created so that the parents could come up and see where their kids would be. So they could see, like, oh no, there are doctors and nurses here to take care, of my kids' medical needs, for them to meet the counselors, so that they knew exactly, okay, this is where my child will stay. And so to this day, even though Campamento Familiar and Family Camp are for our younger patients and siblings, we also welcome new families, even if their child's older, to come up and come to Family Camp, experience it, see what it's like, so that you can feel comfortable to send your child to summer camp. So that was kind of the genesis of it. But I think now, I mean, just having something that's like linguistically and culturally in tune with your experience, feeling welcome, feeling like this is for you. I think oftentimes our community is relegated to the margins, right? And it's, we're seen as oftentimes an afterthought, whereas with Camp Ronald McDonald for Good Times, we put our Latino or Latinx community at the forefront. I mean, we're culturally sensitive to not just the Latinx community, but to everyone who and every identity who shows up to camp. That's part of what we're about, is inclusivity and being compassionate and welcoming of everyone.
Yeah, those are the key words right there, girl. Compassionate, welcoming. It's already a strange experience for so many Latino, Latinx families, children. You brought it up. I was not allowed to go to camp. I was not encouraged to go to camp. You and I did not spend the night at people's houses.
No.
Maybe your cousins. That's about it.
Right. Yeah.
But it's proven, science has proven that being in the outdoors does have an effect on your heart rate. It does have an effect. I mean, the Japanese call walking in the forest bathing. It is, you know, indigenous cultures call when you're walking barefoot on dirt or on in the water on natural gravel. It is being grounded. All these terms come from a place of healing, and that is what Camp Ronald McDonald is trying to do. So the fact that you speak Spanish on top of providing that wonderful experience of being outdoors, of having medical care right there, and speaking Spanish, the inclusivity matters more than ever, because immediately they start being comfortable, and then they can absorb all the beauty that Mama Nature has to offer, has to give, that we are so grateful for. So another huge reason why I support and adore Camp Ronald McDonald and everything that you guys do.
Yeah.
So it's a special time. Give us that hashtag one more time, because I want to make sure I post it correct. I also want to say hello to Water Barrel. Thanks for joining us. He's been giving us some love, some praise, I should say. Florian 89 sent to you. Thank you for joining us. And G Dust Mama Bear says camp has really shaped her children to become the adults they are. Another reason why your camp is so important, because children going through cancer, especially those that need intensive medical care, urgent medical care. I want to be careful with my words here, but they can't go to just any camp.
Right.
It's like exclusive to be able to go to Camp Ronald McDonald. Another reason that I want to support and help out during this campaign, during this fundraiser. Okay, so tell me what it is again.
Yes. So if you go to Camp Ronald McDonald for Good Times page and, give us a like and follow us, that would be incredible. But the link is in our bio, where you can make a donation in honor of Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. And I think, this month, of course, we're always trying to raise funds, but I think ultimately, just help us spread awareness. And one of the things that I wanted to mention, we've been saying during the pandemic that even though we're not in person, we're still in session. So we have totally shifted our programming to virtual. We've been doing Camp in a Box, so providing all of our campers with a box full of goodies, and then our counselors, who are all volunteers, incredible human beings. I see a lot of them on here. I just want to say hi to our incredible counselors and our MedShed staff. They've been hosting, we'll do like a camp session online, camp at home. And so our counselors are the ones who do the activities with our kids on Zoom. And, oftentimes our experience with Zoom might be a little draining because we'll spend hours in meetings or whatever. But I can tell you firsthand, I've participated in Camp at Home myself. My kids have too. And it's fun. It's just like a fun experience. The community gets to connect again. Our counselors are our kids' heroes. So for them to see them again, even if it's online, is such a huge uplift. Especially in a time of isolation where we haven't been able to see a lot of people that we love so much. So I'm very proud of our team, which goes beyond our staff, but again, those volunteer counselors who've allowed us to be able to provide this new program, our virtual Camp at Home.
Thank you to all of the volunteer counselors and the counselors. And again, I've met with and seen some of the staff do, their thing in person. I've also seen the Camp in a Box, so fun, arts and crafts, t-shirts, caps, stickers, calendars. What a great way to pivot. There's that word, but I mean, we've all had to go through that over this past year and a half. So whatever I can do to help others and the awareness of wonderful things that Camp Ronald McDonald is doing. I want to make sure that we give out the correct Instagram account. Yes. And I'm also seeing all these hellos. Hi, the podcast, Mata. Hello, Gilbert Chavez. Essa Chris, Genesis J89 says, camp isn't about the place, it's about the community. And that is what you continue to provide even during the lockdown. So thank you all to everybody still putting in those hours, putting in that love and compassion for the children and their families going through something so tough. So
Yeah.
Hi, Chef 5150. Well, thank you. Hi, Joe Cox. Hi, sister. My sister and my mom are on there. Hi, ladies.
Oh, hi. We love Alysha. So we love you too, mom and sister. Oh, look at Brenda just put, thank you, Brenda. She's our incredible social media manager. She put our
there it is.
Yeah, Camp Ronald McDonald is our, what do they call it? Handle, right?
Handle. There you go.
Oh gosh, like all the terms, all the social media terms. I'm like, yeah.
Girl, we've both been working all day. I'm so excited we made it.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for, I mean, honestly, Alysha, you do so much for the community, and like you're always putting yourself out there. You're using your platform. And I must say, like a lot of influencers, you know, ask to be paid for these types of things because, you know, they're trying to make a living too, but you're always so generous and you donate your time and your energy. So I'm telling you, you're the best. So thank you.
I'm like, I don't blush.
You're like, I bronze, I don't blush.
I'm just going to say thank you. I come from a family of givers and doers, and I really believe that we should use our powers for good, and that's what you all are doing. And so it comes naturally hanging around, and you and I worked on other projects. So this is very comfortable and very easy to support such a wonderful cause. Camp Ronald McDonald, everybody. Let's make sure we support, especially during Hispanic Heritage Month, because a lot of children, Latinos, Hispanics, Chicanos, Latinx, pick your term. The point is, all of these children and their families need our help. All of the families that are able to, you know, get some love and TLC and care from Camp Ronald McDonald. Let's keep this going, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So, thank you, Brenda, for putting that up. I see Camp Ronald McDonald.
Yeah, and there was a question in here asking about, do we support children with autism? And, you know, we are specific to serving children with cancer, but if you DM us, we at Camp Ronald McDonald, we can suggest like some other camps who work with other populations. I mean, we're all about like, we don't turn anyone away. We make sure that we connect you with the right resource. So we're happy to do that.
Thank you for that. That is wonderful. And that was G. Gonzalez, 1141. Thank you for joining us this evening and hanging out. Manny Wood, when are you visiting schools? Well, schools just got back in session. So
oh my gosh,
everything is rolling out, and I don't think they want strangers there just yet. They're still
I can't even go inside the school, and I'm a parent. Like they won't let me in my girls' school. They're like, you stay right here.
Here's the line, do not cross it, right?
Yes.
Again, everybody's just had to deal with something unprecedented, and I want to applaud you and send hugs to everybody involved, the volunteers. I saw something earlier.
I want to mention that, you know, one of the things, one of our camp counselors, Mule, that everyone has camp names at camp, so his camp name is Mule, and he was mentioning that, you know, not everyone who goes to Campamento, the counselors, not everyone speaks Spanish, and they still have a connection with our families, and they figure out how to communicate, which I think is so beautiful, and it really speaks to just everyone shows up with such a genuine heart and so much love. One of the questions that people often ask is like, how do we recruit our children, and how do they hear about Camp Ronald McDonald? And we usually go into the hospitals, and that's where we do a lot of our recruitment. That's obviously changed with COVID, and we've had to come up with other creative ways to do that. But we have relationships with our doctors and nurses, and they help to also promote Camp Ronald McDonald as like part of a child's treatment, actually, and we'll say, you know, this is going to help improve the overall health outcomes for your children. But I want to shout out Jasmine Hoya, who's our public relations and recruitment manager. So she goes out and recruits our children. Jasmine is a Latina herself. She was a camp counselor. She was also a camper. So so she takes so much personal care, and makes sure she builds relationships with our families, because there's still that hesitation to go up to camp, especially for our Latinx community who's not familiar with camp. And she'll follow up for like years until they finally say yes. So I think that just speaks to, for camp, not only being the founding Spanish language ecology camp back in 1987, being trailblazers in that way, but to this day, we still take that level of care for our Latino community. So I'm very proud of our team. I should also mention I'm the first Latina to hold the executive director position, and I know that means a lot to our campamento families. Go to the campamento, and I'm able to communicate with them, and they see someone who looks like them and is a familiar face. It really, I know, means a lot to our families. So I'm very proud to be in the role that I'm in.
Bravo, my lady. Thank you. That's what we want. We want more inclusion, more diversity, more women, more people of color at the table, right?
Yes.
To help us be included in, especially something like healthcare, especially with something so important. Again, what could be more important than taking care of our children and our families dealing with cancer? So thank you, Mama. I know we're running a little bit over, but I'm not done yet. I want to ask you, I'm a big fan of Camp Ronald McDonald. If there's one thing that you want everybody to know about Camp Ronald McDonald, what would that be?
That, like I mentioned, that we heal places that medical treatments can't reach, that it's not just about a fun experience, that it's really critical to the healing of our children and the families. Oftentimes we think that it's the patient who's going through everything, right? Which absolutely it's challenging for the patient physically, emotionally. But we say at camp that cancer is in the body of one child, but it impacts the entire family. Cancer, everyone at camp has cancer, is what we say. Because you think about, as a parent, or even as a tia or a tío, you have a child in your life that you love so much, and when they are sick, right, just even with a cold, like, how does that impact the whole family? Nobody sleeps, So you think about when a child has cancer, and oftentimes our children are going through treatment for 3 years or more, and in that time they're isolated the whole time, right? They're going through what we just experienced with the pandemic. That's what our families go through regularly. They have to isolate themselves. So this is why the community that's provided at camp, in a beautiful healing environment, everybody's asked to put their phones away. There's no television. It's just truly a time to just connect with nature and other people. It just heals not just the patient, but the siblings who are often, forgotten about during that time. Parents who, this is the first time they're meeting another parent that has a child with cancer, right? Because when they're at the hospital, they're isolated. Right. They're just dealing with their child and their treatment. They go to camp. This is the first time they get to connect with other families who are going through the same experience. So I can go on and on.
Right. There are all these layers of
so many layers.
Yeah.
So many layers.
Thank you, everybody. I see you, Brenda.
Yes.
Someone asked how they can donate, and just go to the link in Camp Ronald McDonald. You can donate. Like Fatima mentioned, if you have questions, you can DM her. Everybody is so helpful there, because it is a mission of compassion. It is a mission of healing, but it is also a business. And to keep these camps running, and to keep the boxes going out, and the healing, the spaces of inclusion, we have to support. So I pledge today. I'm going to post it as well with the link on the bio. So I'm going to make my donation this evening as soon as we're done here. If any of our followers, our viewers, or friends that are joining us feel moved by what Camp Ronald McDonald does the way I do, please show your support and donate. Let's do this. Thank you, Robert. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Brett.
Yes, thank you so much. I really appreciate everyone's donation, even if it's, you know, $5 or like I said, everything makes a huge difference. I mean, we have a cost-free commitment. You know, there's been conversations in the past like, do we do sliding scale? Do we just charge, you know, like a little something? And we just have remained adamant about keeping it cost-free to make sure that it's accessible, that this is not an additional cost that our families have to deal with, you know, in addition to all of the medical treatments and everything else that they're having to pay for. So, you know, next year we celebrate 40 years and yeah, we'll be going strong. As long as there's the need, we will be around. So we thank everyone for your support.
Thank
Yeah.
you, thank you, and thank you, Erin Shields. She says it's so true. Campamento is such an amazing and invaluable resource to be able to provide the camp support without any unnecessary barriers. No barriers, no
barriers.
walls.
No.
This is bridges.
Yes.
This is hugs. This is come on in. Let's heal you. Let's at least give you a break from that life of being treated at the hospital. And again, we love our healthcare workers. We're so grateful.
Thank goodness.
But to get a break like this, and especially during a pandemic, all you guys have done to still include children and their families with what they're going through. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes. No.
Alrighty, everybody. Yes. Any last words? Hi, Nick Hamilton. Oh, my mom says she's going to donate too.
Aww.
Thank you, Linda.
Thank you, Mama.
Hello, AZG. Until there is a cure, there's a camp. Yes.
And I know that I want to offer for you to go and stay at camp. You can, right now that during the pandemic that we haven't been having our programs in person, we're offering the campsite. So if you want to go up, and there's wonderful hiking trails around there, and you can spend the night.
I would absolutely love that. I've never hiked nor camped in Idlewild. And I have so many friends that love it and go often, multiple times a year. I've not been once. I'm like, and I'm such a shameless homer. I love Southern California. I can't believe I've not been. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Yes, and yes.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, we're going to make it happen. I mean, we have like, you don't, I mean, I can camp, but I haven't camped in a long time. So, you know, at Camp Ronald McDonald is definitely glamping. So you'll get to like stay in a nice cabin, and there we have one that has a kitchen and
that would be awesome, glamping. And then you know what I could do is actually show people what glamping is, because I feel like even my parents, who we grew up camping, are like, what is glamping? I'm not glammed. I picture like chandeliers and a butler, but really it's just not sleeping on the dirt, right? Which I did last year. So
oh my gosh, amazing.
I'm excited to learn what it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes.
New York in the house. Oh, look at my mom jumping in there. Take me with you.
Oh, you can. Definitely. Bring your mom. There's plenty of room.
Yes. Thank you, Mama. Thank you for donating. Thank you for my family, you know, for supporting. And when my daughter was going through her medical crisis, we spent a lot of time at Children's Hospital LA. Much love to everybody there. But you see what the families go through. You see a daily reminder of how challenging, how difficult, how stressful. So I love all the layers that you've shown us that Camp Ronald McDonald tries to give these families, and especially these children, a break, a respite, a getaway, you know, and I'm all about that. And especially I believe in the healing powers of Mother Nature. So all good here, all good.
Yes, and I appreciate everyone's patience with the background children and noise.
I wasn't going to say anything.
This is real life right here. This is real life, you guys. I'm in East LA, so it's nice and there's always noise. And my children are just, you know, always in the background.
Adorable, and that is why you are authentic, girl. You
always, girl.
Places, corazón.
Yes.
Hi, Valhalla. Thank you. Translation in Espanol, porfis. Okay, that's you, girl. I would not dare put myself out there. You guys would criticize my Spanish.
Okay. Oh my gosh, I didn't even practice in Spanish.
Just tell people where they can
Estoy
go to.
totalmente pocha, so es un poco difícil comunicar en español. No he practicado mucho. Pues tenemos un campamento para niños que tienen cáncer y sus familias y nomás tienen que ir al Camp Ronald McDonald para saber más lo que hacemos por las familias.
Ooh, beautiful.
Is that okay?
Goddess that you are. And I'm glad that we could do this, especially during Hispanic Heritage Month.
Yes.
So again, we have so much power, especially being women, mothers, community advocates, and this is the time to keep, advocating for our children and our families, especially going through something like cancer. So thank you, Mama.
Absolutely.
I
yes,
will see
thank
soon.
you.
We've got some other things coming up, including Latina golfers, but we'll talk about that another time.
That's right. And the next time we go live, we'll have to do a makeup tutorial, talk about our favorite bronzers,
yes,
our favorite lipsticks.
Yes.
That'll be the next live. But
you know
now,
what I wanted to do was like
me.
I spent a lot of time with my nana to do the like old school remedies, like the tried and true, because if you met my nana in person, she's stunning, but she is the most beautiful skin, still so soft. And I don't want to say what it is yet, but we'll go there. We'll talk about. I want to make sure I get the right products and the right backyard remedies. You know what I'm saying?
I think that because my grandmother is also very into beauty aesthetic. She's 90 years old.
Yes.
So if we get both of our grandmas on the live, oh my gosh, I think people would like.
It's a date. Yes, it's a date. Okay, let's do that. We'll do that next.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having us. Thank you for, again, using your platform for good always. I mean, you're such an inspiration to all of us. You're such a wonderful example of a strong Latina who's using your voice for good, So thank you so much. And thank you to everyone for supporting.
Thank you, everyone.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you. I'll talk to you soon. I'm going to go donate now, please. CampRonaldMcDonald.com, everybody. $5, $50, $500. It all goes there to the camp and the children.
Yes.
Bye.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.